Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Giles, and welcome back to another episode of 40 Under 40, where we are talking to some of the country's most illustrious and celebrated 40 artists under the age of 40. And today is no different. We have an amazing artist who is doing some dope things in his own right that's taken the theater and music world by storm. I want you to help me welcome my friend, Jamall Houston. Jamall, how you doing, man?
Good. How you doing?
I'm amazing. I'm amazing. Hey, man, thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah, thank you for this.
Yeah. So tell the people, tell the world, who is Jamall Houston?
Who is Jamall Houston? So I'm an actor, singer, songwriter, worship leader. I'm a son. I'm an uncle. I'm a great uncle. I'm a brother. I'm a whole lot of things, a whole lot of positive things.
Okay, that's dope. That's dope. Let's start with that singer side. Like, so when did you start singing? Were you like one of those kids who was running around the house at the age of 2 with a brush singing in the mic?
No. So I feel like I didn't start like singing in front of people until I got to high school. So I was super nervous to sing like when I was a kid. So even in the church choir, I was always at the back. I never raised my hand for a solo. Even now, I think some people are shocked that I am the singer I am today because as a kid, I didn't do any of that growing up.
Wow.
Yeah. So I would say about sophomore years when I was like, you know what, I can sing. I'm gonna start singing in front of people.
Okay, so what was that? What was that turning point? Was it like school choir? Was it church? I mean, what made that switch to say I can start doing this now?
I think whenever I was in school choir, people would tell me that I could sing. So I was like, well, I guess I can sing. And since I wouldn't do it around the house, like there was no encouragement because nobody heard me singing in the car around the house or anything like that. So once I had like choir teachers, they'd be like, oh, you have a really good voice. And I'm like, oh, okay. So then I would just start singing and getting better and better and better. So by the time I got to college, that is when I just really came into my own as a singer. I actually got my scholarship, my freshman and sophomore year of college, my music scholarship came from me singing karaoke in the student center.
I need to know about this.
So
karaoke and got a scholarship. Like, tell me more.
Okay, so I was in my dorm and they were having this event. It was like school hadn't even really started yet, so we had just moved onto campus, and this was in Navarro College, and I was like, well, I need to get to know people. And if like you know me, so my personality is very like laid back. And I was like, I have to know people if I'm gonna be here. So I was like, let me go to this event. So I went there and they were doing karaoke in the gym. And I was like, I should sing. I was like, no, I'm not gonna sing. And then like I kept getting this nudge like to go sing. So I went and I sang You Got It Bad by Usher. And then they were like, oh my God, this is great. Like, who are you? So I made friends that way. And then one of the girls said, she was like, I'm in choir. I'm going to talk to the choir teacher about you. And I was like, whatever. Then the next day, so right the first day of school, I got a call from him to come to his office. And then he put me on scholarship. He had me sing in his office, put me on scholarship for my room and board recovered. So I only had to pay for books. And it was like $400. So
wow. Yeah. That's dope. Yeah. So you see what opening your mouth can actually get you.
Yeah. Apparently, yeah. Closed mouths don't get fed. So they
don't get fed at all. So now you were a singer at that point. Were you also doing theater at that same point?
Yeah. So I was doing theater in high school as well. I never got any like principal parts. So I was always in the background in the ensemble, had like 1 or 2 lines here. And then when I got to college, I did theater my freshman year, and then in order to be on scholarship, you had to do the school musical. And so that's when like being a principal character like actually came into play for me, was when I got into college. And I was like, oh, I love this. And then I quit theater.
I love this, then I quit theater. Yes. What made you quit theater?
I feel like I just didn't think that there was any role. There were roles for me at the time. And like this was, back in 2008. So we didn't have the Hamiltons and the Color Purples of the world. They were there, but like not. It wasn't as mainstream as it has been in the last 5 to 7 years. So it was like, there's nothing for me here. I could just go be a singer, and that's what I decided to do. So I just didn't act for 8 years.
Wow. So what pulled you out of that? I'm not going to do theater.
A friend of mine, we were I was helping him move, and so we were going through stuff, and I found a program from Wicked. And I was like, oh, I've heard about this show. I've always wanted to see it. And so then we ended up going to see it. And before the show, I mean, I think the orchestra played like the first and I was like, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. Like this, and because I had avoided even going to shows for like 8 years because I knew I was running from something, but I avoided going to shows. I didn't watch anything. I just was like, I'm not doing any of it. And it's so like I sat down, orchestra started playing. I was like, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. Like this actually feels right. Like what I'm watching people do on the stage. Yeah, this is what I'm supposed to do. And oh, go ahead.
I said, so at that point, it's just like I'm auditioning for every show.
Yeah,
auditioning.
I got back to Dallas, and then I was like, I'm going to audition for every show. I kind of knew since when I was in high school, they taught us how to write a resume. They taught us how to audition. So I knew what to do. I just wasn't doing it. So when I was like, let me type up a resume. I have no credit. So I would put like just stuff I did from high school or no, college, sorry. And then I was like, well, you know, I walked in the door, and then I think my first audition was like The Lion King, which was kind of crazy because I went for the biggest thing possible for our first audition. And then when I didn't get that, I was like, oh, okay. So I need to put in some work to kind of build my resume. And I started like booking things, and I was working a lot after that. I don't know. I mean, by the grace of God, like I just was able to get back into it.
Yeah. I mean, it's an amazing story to watch how, you know, just one thing led to the next, led to the next, led to the next to get you to this moment. Yeah. Thinking about your favorite show that you've been in. I know it's like picking a baby. I get it. What would be your favorite show or the one that sticks out the most in your memory?
Honestly, and I'm not just saying this because it's you. My favorite show I've been in is The First Noel. Okay. I just felt like it's not very often where I've been able to just play like a black man he wasn't on drugs. He wasn't cheating on his wife. He was just a regular dad trying to do the best that he could and be there for his family. And then like it's also it's rare to get a Christmas show with original music, right? And an original story, I guess, for black families. That was like the thing that sticks out the most. Like if I could do that again, I would. Yeah. There's not many shows I want to do twice, even though I've done a show 3 times. There's not many shows that I want to do again, but I would love to do that again because I felt like I was playing who I should have been playing, opposed to trying to create a character from a white gaze, and it was
to live in that world. It makes sense. It makes sense. So now I'm black and I'm living in this white world. Yeah. I get it. Beautiful show. That's one of my favorites too. Love First Noel. Yeah. So talk to that little boy who says, I think I can sing, I think I can act, but I don't know if this is for me. What advice would you give them to tell, or what advice would you give them, period?
So they want to sing, they want to act, but they can't sing, they can't act, but they don't think it's for them. Right. I think I would say try it out first to see if it's for you. I mean, really give it a go, because I think what I did, I was so nervous because I was so nervous to fail that I didn't even try. And so I think a lot of times when we say when we can sing or we can act or we can dance and we say, well, I don't think it's for me. I think it's more of us being nervous to fail, and I think we should just try things that are scary for us. And that's what I would say. Like, just try it out. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Like there's so many things you can do in the world, but if you know you have a gift, like at least put some time into perfecting that gift and putting that in front of other people, and you might find something that you didn't expect to find.
I love that. That. You mentioned that you went out for The Lion King and you didn't book it.
I did not.
If somebody, like so many times people say, hey, they didn't like me, I'm not good at this, I'm going to throw in the towel. Is that, I mean, how do you overcome that thought process? Because there are so many no's in this business.
Yeah. So I typically go into like an audition process, just already thinking I'm probably not going to book it. Like if we're talking about like scientifically or mathematically, like if they're looking for one person and there are 1,000 guys that walk in for the role, like, I mean, the odds are against you. So you go and you do your best. Also have to know that the person behind the table, as like, you know, stoic as they might look, they are hoping that you are the answer to whatever whatever puzzle they're trying to put together. And if you don't end up being the answer, it doesn't mean that you're not good enough. It just means you don't work for whatever vision or whatever puzzle that they're putting together. So it's just learning how not to take it personal. Now I have cried in the past when I haven't booked anything because I'm like, oh, like I'm not good enough. But then when you start like booking more stuff and you realize like it's not even about me. Like I could walk in and just be great, and they're like, he's great, but he doesn't work for this show for whatever reason.
I was directing the show, and there was a guy who was great for the role, but the lead female that he played against, she looked a little older than him, and I was worried that the guy would look way like her son and not her husband. So that I understand what you're saying.
It's the
often. Go ahead.
No,
I was going to say, oftentimes we talk about the successes and we don't talk about the challenges that we have. Can you talk to us about like one of those times where you had in this business, whatever side it was, that you had a challenge that you were like, I don't know how I'm going to overcome this, and you actually, you persevered?
So many. Let me find one that. You know what? I'm gonna go back to the first Noel.
Oh, okay.
So when I was originally cast, I was cast in a different role. Now I'm gonna say this is my fault because the way that I showed up, well, partly of it is my fault. I showed up to the callback a little underprepared, like, or I guess I kind of played it cool because I felt like, oh, the production team they know me, but like in reality, like you need to show up every time. Anyway, so the lead character who got the part that I really, really wanted ended up playing. He dropped out the show for whatever happened. I don't know the whole story with that. Well, the director comes up to me right before Tech Week and asked me to take over that role. Well, it was like maybe 6 rehearsals, and then there was like a day off because it was Thanksgiving. So we had maybe 2 rehearsals before we went into Tech, and it was I was like, I don't think I'm gonna be able to pull this off. Like I feel like I felt like I wasn't going to get it until maybe like closing weekend because I feel like I didn't have enough time to prepare. But it was one of those moments where it was like, if he didn't think that you would be able to pull this off, he wouldn't have asked you to do it. So learn it along the road. So what I did, like I lived in Dallas and the show was in Fort Worth. So what I would do, and people don't know this, I would take the train from Dallas to Fort Worth to get to rehearsal, because when I was on the train, I could actually study the material and not worry about driving. Wow. So I would be listening to the soundtrack, studying my lines on my note cards, because I didn't have to worry about looking at the road because the train was going. So just finding those moments to figure out how I'm going to learn these lines, these songs, and everything, with not a lot of time.
Yeah, that's dope. That's dope. And the director really had a lot of confidence in you to pull that off in a week. Yeah. And you did it. You did.
I did.
You did. Jamall, so you are a member of Actors Equity Association. Mm-hmm. So that means that you're unionized now. And so being a non-equity actor, moving to an equity actor, what are some things that you've learned and say, I might do this, I might have done this different, or this is the benefit, or something like that? What gems can you share with us?
Well, I took my equity card right before the pandemic. So like during the pandemic, there were thoughts of like, well, maybe I shouldn't have taken it, because there were people still doing work. I actually got let go of a show because we were not able to work under a contract during the pandemic. So, but they were still able to go forward with the show, but not with me. So I think during that moment, I was thinking like maybe I've taken it too early or whatever. But I stopped thinking like that once things started to open back up, and I realized like the reason why I took my card was because I wanted to start doing getting paid what I was worth. That was one part. Like I was like, we put in so many hours doing this work, and then you get paid pennies. I don't want to get paid pennies anymore. I mean, it's still not, we're not going to become millionaires doing theater, but at the same time, like, I want to be paid to where I can at least pay a couple bills from a check from acting. And I would rather do less, make more money than do more and be tired and not have like strong relationships and miss my family. And I think that's when it started to make sense to me. Like, I'm doing this because one, I want to make my money. I also want to be on Broadway, so I have to be a part of the union to be on Broadway. Right. But it made more sense. Like it's going to be harder to get work, but then the work that I get is going to be substantial.
Right.
So yeah.
Makes sense. So you just came back from Houston, not just came back, but recently came back from Houston from working for Theater Under the Stars on a pretty big show called Sister Act.
It's pretty big, yeah.
What was that experience like?
So the experience was great. It was the last show I did before going into quarantine that I count, and then it was the first show back, and it felt like God was giving me, because Sister Act was a show I got my equity card with, and then the first show that I was able to do on stage as an equity actor was Sister Act, and it felt like God was giving me like, okay, here is the restart that you were supposed to get. It was the same time period as I did like a year before. It was crazy. Anyway, wow. It was a great experience, and because I felt like for the first time in acting, everybody showed up for work. And I never felt, and I'm not trying to talk down on anybody when I say this, and I think you'll understand where I'm coming from. I feel like everybody in there was there because this is how they paid their bills. And I'm not like, if I make a friend on the way, that's cool, but I'm here to get this job done. Right. Lines, like we didn't have issues about people not knowing lines. People knew their songs. People knew the choreography after they taught it. It was just it was an experience that I hadn't had before. I was like, oh, this is what this is supposed to feel like. I feel like I'm at home. Like, this is where I'm supposed to be, where everybody around me is like putting in the same 100%.
Yeah. It's the level of professionalism.
Yeah, it was a completely different level of professionalism that I hadn't experienced before. Like, when you go in a room, it's like everybody's good.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
But that's definitely how it should be, especially at that level, for sure.
Oh, for sure. And I was that experience is really interesting because I, like, when we were talking about earlier about taking chances and just kind of thinking that it's not going to be you. I mean, I auditioned for Sister Act. I submitted in April of 2021. I didn't get cast until August. I had months of like callbacks and sending in different tapes and having to go because. And that's when I know I was like, this is a different level. Like, this is, you're working with, Broadway, Tony Award nominated director. Like, this is not, just a one and done.
Right.
And, it was just like, okay, this is for me. Like, because we talking about the nation, and then they picked me. It was for me. Right. And that's I kind of guess that's the advice, going back to what we said earlier, I would give to like people. It's like, I mean, we have those moments where you're like, okay, I'm supposed to be doing this. Like, they picked me out of everybody. Right. And I know they were looking at other people because I helped one of my friends with a callback tape for the same role.
Wow.
So, so I know they were looking at, it wasn't just me. They were looking at LA and New York and Chicago and whoever, wherever.
Right.
So landed on me.
Right. So how is that? Like, you and your friend, both same type, sing the same way, both are equity, and you both going for the same role. Is there infighting? Is it like, I want it? How do you do that relationship and still remain friends?
Oh, I think it's a maturity level. Like, what God has for you is for you. Like, what's yours is not going to pass you by. So, me not helping someone with something because I might be interested in is not going to make them any less, up for the role or make me any more somebody's choice. It's like we both do our best. If they want us, they want us. And honestly, if it's out of me and my friend, I'd rather one of us get into somebody we don't know.
That's true. That's true. That's true. Switching subjects just a touch.
Yeah.
You said you're a worship leader. Like, how do you do juke joint at night and then church? I'm just joking. What does that worship leader life look like?
So I was completely uninterested in being a worship leader, right? So during when the shutdown, there was no theater going on. Worship pastor at my church is also my friend Ethan Kent. We went out to eat in like June of 2020. He goes, "Hey, church is opening back up." He said, "Hey, I want you to start leading." And I was like, "Cut, whatever." I said, "Listen, I'm into my theater thing. Like, I don't really have to, lead worship. Like, I'm good being in the background singing my oohs and ahs." And he was like, "No, I think you need to step up." And I was like, "Okay, whatever." So then he had me like leading like the student center, and then he moved me to the main worship center. And so it turned into something I started to fall in love with, because I was like, oh, like I'm a person of faith, and I also sing, and I don't mind, like I like sharing that, and I feel like that's my gift back to, like, God is blessing me with so many things. And I feel like being a worship leader and like leading his people is like my gift back. Like, this is me giving back. Like, this is my service. So that's, it was never something, I never intended on doing it. I just never had an interest. And then, now it's a part of who I am.
Nice. So when can we expect Just Jamal, the EP?
I don't know, when y'all pay for it. And I'm kidding.
Listen, one of these Broadway shows can pay for it.
Okay. Listen, no, I wanted to. I released a song called Underwater, but I quietly released it because it needed to come out, because I wrote in my bio for Sister Act that the song was out. So, but I wasn't ready to do any promotion for it because I just didn't have anything to follow up. I would say that I'm constantly working on trying to put something together. I think I'm in a bit of like, not a crisis, but trying to figure out like what I want to sing and what I want to talk about. Okay. And what experience I want to pull from.
Okay. I'm here for that. And can you tell us, like, what can you tell us is coming up next? I'm sure there's some things you can't talk about yet. But what's next?
I don't know. There's a lot of things in the pipeline.
Okay.
We'll talk offline. There's like a lot. I woke up yesterday and I was like, Lord, I need to book something. And so then I looked at my email. My email was like blowing up with like,
wow,
yes, things. So we'll talk.
Okay.
There's something coming.
I'm here for that. Jamal, if we want to follow you, how can we follow you on social media?
You can follow me on Instagram at Just Jamal. That is JUSTJAMALL. On Facebook at Jamall Houston. And yeah, that's it.
Okay. So Jamal, we're gonna play a game. It's called This or That. And so I'm gonna give you 2 words, 2 phrases, 2 scenarios, and you just tell me which one you better align with. Okay? All right. We'll start off easy, and then we're gonna get a little tough.
Oh Lord.
LA tacos or New York pizza?
New York pizza.
Why?
Because I haven't had an LA taco.
Okay, that works. Chick-Fil-a or Whataburger?
Whataburger.
What's up? More options?
Yeah, and then it's great, like late night food. Like I know that I can go to Whataburger and get everything off the menu. I'll go late at night.
Once on This Island, the musical, or Color Purple, the musical?
Color Purple.
Ooh, why Color Purple?
I just, every time I see that show, it just touches me. Like, I don't know. And Once on This Island is good. Don't get me wrong. It's just the Color Purple. I think it's foolproof. Like, no matter, it could be, I'm sure that could be a bad production, but for the most part, I think if you have the right people doing it, I think the scripts does like so much work for the actor. Yeah.
Okay. This is going to be a little tough, and we realize we love both. I just want to preface it with that. Denzel Washington or Billy Porter?
Denzel.
Wow. Why Denzel?
I just prefer Denzel as an actor.
Okay. Gotcha. Felicia.
Because I almost said something that I didn't want to say, so you had to edit that out.
You didn't say anything. I have to remember to go back and edit Jamal. Felicia Rashad or let me ask it again. Oh my God. Okay, there we go. So the next one, Angela Bassett or Felicia Rashad?
I'm going to say Felicia
because
she just feels like home to me. I don't know. Yeah. And she reminds me of my grandmother a lot.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I can see that. If you had $1 million, if someone gave you $1 million, would you prefer $1 million in cash or $1 million home?
Cash, because I don't need $1 million house. You know what I can do with, yeah. Wait, we talking like tax-free meal? Oh, you give me $1 million because I don't have any kids. I'm not buying $1 million home. So
okay. If you had a superpower, would you rather be able to fly or to be invisible?
Invisible.
Why invisible?
Because if you're invisible, you can go anywhere. So you don't need to know how to fly. I can be anywhere and be invisible.
That's true. On a plane, and boom, you're there. Gotcha. Last question. If someone gave you an all expense paid vacation, would you rather go to the beach or to the mountains?
Oh, the beach.
Why the beach?
I don't know. Something about the mountains just feel like a lot of things can go wrong.
Okay. Too many movies. Gotcha.
Yeah, people getting stuck in caves and a lot of things can go wrong. Let's just go to the beach where other people are.
Okay. Gotcha. Okay. So this has been This or That. It's super easy. Jamal, thank you so much for joining us today on 40 Under 40. Congrats again.
Thank you.
Yeah. So everybody, make sure you go check out Make sure you go check out Jamall Houston online. Follow him. When you see him on Broadway, be like, I remember that dude from Urban Arts Magazine, 40 Under 40. When he's in your city, go download that single. I'm gonna put the graphic right there. So since he's not promoting it, I'm gonna promote it. Go download his single. Actually, don't download it. Go buy it because
that would be great. Yes, because streams.
Yeah, streams are 0.2 cents. 0.2 cents.
They learn how to fraction a penny. I don't get that.
Yeah. They fraction the penny down for one stream. So if you download it, it'll be $1.29. So please, I think he's worth $1.29. Would you say? It was about it. Yeah. He's worth $1.29. So make sure you go download his song. I didn't know it was out. I feel a little some way, but it's all good. So Jamal, thank you again. Thank you for joining us for 40 Under 40, powered by Urban Arts Magazine. I'm your host, Giles. We'll see you next time.